Yo, it's your man Jam C.
What up, everybody? It's your girl, Shot Money.
And it's your boy, the Lord Lubim.
He's back.
The Lordship.
He's back. All the harem is all around here. We just hide in the harem.
It's in perfect timing because the House of Dragons. I don't know if you ever watched that with the
Is that
Game
like
of Thrones.
Game of Thrones kind of thing?
It just ended. The season just ended.
He's excited. He likes it. Had no
I
idea you into the medieval shit.
All into that.
But it makes sense. You're a king, and that's the time.
I'm a lord.
The Lord.
The Lord that head. The Lord.
Wow. So I hear it's a really good show.
It is. It is really, really good. And it kind of gives you. It brings you back. And now it starts off like 200 years before the Game of Thrones, and then it works its way up, and it's getting closer and closer to Game of Thrones. So that's pretty cool. So I like it. I love it.
So guys, I wanted to shout out and say thank you for holding down the Going Vocal show and the Vocal Lounge in my short hiatus.
I farted in your chair.
That explains the fucking hole, you dirty dog, you. Yeah, I'm taking my shit with me next time, petty. But don't worry, guys. Y'all gonna have more time with them because Shot Money going on 2 more hiatuses because y'all already know it's about to be November. And what happens in November?
Thanksgiving.
Some Thanksgiving.
No, y'all can be petty all y'all want. Y'all gonna give
Somebody's
me my
birthday. Shot Money's born day.
Yes.
Shot Money's born day.
Yes.
Scorpio season has arrived.
We about to fuck shit up.
I've been saying that all on social media. Every Zodiac, every time they come, they start shitting on the Zodiac. Their predecessor.
Yeah, we start talking shit. But how was your guys' week? How's it been going, folks?
Yo, I gotta get your shit together, but I had a crazy week. My week was good. It was actually great. It was actually good.
Yo, mine was good too. Couple of milestones.
Nice.
Milestones. Got over a hurdle, shaking some things off. And,
okay.
Oh, I put the pressure on my job. I'm pressing.
For promotion?
Pressing niggas.
Get them.
Keep your foot on. Keep your foot on in that.
I'm like, yo, I need my yearly evaluation. What's going on?
I'll let the kid.
Listen, I ain't asking for nothing right now, but you better believe.
It's coming.
It's coming.
I'm gonna put my trump card in there.
You know what? My week was good. I've been dealing with a lot in my professional life, but making some very positive impact. So I'm excited about that. And then, my birthday's coming, so...
Yeah.
Another holiday.
National. Celebrated in many countries around the world, my birthday. But folks, not only is it Shot Money's born day in November, there's something else that happens right around the time of my birthday. And that is, right now, we're going to be faced with the midterm elections. And that is really, really, really... important. So that's kind of what we want to come to the listeners and viewers with this week, to really encourage you, to mobilize you. Get your ass up and vote. Yes. I don't want to hear, it doesn't matter. It does matter. It does matter. Yes. Your voice, our ancestors fought for the right for us to vote. So it is really, really important that we pass that on and we mobilize the next generation. And we have to let these people that we put in office know that they are accountable to us. And if you don't go out and you don't make your voice heard, then you're just letting the other guys win. And so then you can't complain about when shit ain't right.
Exactly. And this would make this midterm elections even more important than the presidential election, because whatever president is in play, these midterm elections will allow whatever their agenda to go through or shoot their agenda down. So this is very important to put this midterm election into play like this.
One of the things I want us to do with this segment is to make sure that we are putting this in layman's terms. Because what I've heard from some people that I've talked about, we started talking about elections, is some people just don't understand this. It's over their head, right? And we're not expecting you to be a political pundit, but I think on this show, one of the things that we do is we try to find the right balance. And I think this is one of those segments where we can't be using nomenclature and vocabulary that does not resonate and people don't understand, right? So I'm by no means a political pundit, and I'm not trying to be one, but I could be. Yeah, I could do it.
You
But
Yeah,
for the purposes of
all that
this,
hot smoke.
all that hot smoke, that two-faced shit, I can do it. Y'all know I'm a straight shooter. I think for this exercise, we have to make sure people understand how it impacts them. If we are truly trying to mobilize people, we need to let them know this is why it impacts you. It's going to impact your taxes. It's going to impact your health care. And so I think people don't understand what the midterm elections are. So I think that's a fitting place for us to start.
I agree.
So the midterm elections, operative word mid, means it happens halfway through. Midterm elections are what happen halfway through a presidency. As you know, the presidency is 4-year term. So in year 2, there are midterm elections that happen. And where Lou Bim, I believe you was going, and Lou, you keep me honest here, he was indicating that these are even more important than the actual presidency, because this is where your House of Representatives and your U.S. Senate is going to be elected. And what's really, really important is that all of the 435 seats in the House of Representatives is up for grabs.
Yes.
But also too, not to cut you off.
No, not at all.
I wanted to just make sure that we keep it clean and keep it plain, is that the president is just one part of our system. Then you have the House of Congress, and then you have the Senate, and neither one can overrule the other. You understand what I'm saying? So if the president make a decision, it has to go through those two bodies.
Yeah, those two chambers of Congress.
Right, it has to go through them, and so that's how important that this midterm election is, because these two entities is what help
support the president. They help support the president.
And they shoot them down too. They
Hell
don't
yeah.
always have to agree with them.
But to your
don't.
point, it also helps us select our party, because if you don't vote during the midterm, you risk the chance of your party not
being represented.
Exactly, and then that definitely impacts you. And I think what people don't understand is people think presidential is supposed to impact you directly, but it doesn't. It's the midterms that really attack you directly, because if you don't vote during the midterm, you will suffer come new presidency or moving forward.
So think about where we are right now. So we have a Democratic president in the White House, right? But the houses of Congress are split evenly, right? So it makes it real difficult for the president to get things passed because of the even split. So that means somebody's got to reach across the aisle and demonstrate some camaraderie or bipartisanship to jump ship on their party to support them. So eventually, so you're basically asking the red side to vote with the blue side. Sometimes you get that, and sometimes you don't. But like I said, this year, we're seeing all 435 seats are up for grabs. And then you also have 100 of the senator seats are also up for grabs. So if you do not go out and vote in these midterm elections, and you just play it cool and you're disenfranchised and you're not happy about the process, you're essentially giving a vote to another party who may not represent what matters to you or matters to your family or your community. And right now, the House is split. So the Republicans, and again, I want to give a disclaimer. I am not trying to encourage anybody to vote for a particular party, but you need to know what matters to your family and your community, so you can elect an official who will represent and be your voice in that house. And right now, the Democrats are looking real fucked up. Because their approval rating was upwards of over 45%. They down to 28%.
Ooh.
It's looking shaky, guys.
And I think I want to say this too, right? And even in the black community where we grew up, and our parents always said Democrat all the way, right? And I'm not saying here that I'm not going to sit here and say you should go Democrat or you should go Republican like myself. Right? But what I am saying is just make the best decision that will impact you and your family, like you just said.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whether it's Democrat, whether it's Republican,
independent,
because our parents said Democrat was the way to go. Just think about it. Every party has an agenda.
Absolutely.
They all have agendas.
There's no absolute party.
Whether they're Democrat or Republican, there's an agenda behind both. So regardless, you just, whatever suits and fits your needs, then that's the way you should vote.
Well, let me ask you this: how do a lot of us I'm gonna play devil's advocate. What if I don't know the issues?
Then you need to get informed.
Right.
I think that's the first thing you should do before you cast a ballot is you need to get informed.
Because I think that's part of the problem. Because, I look in terms of when we talk about voting, there are people who don't vote in their school board elections. Yeah. People that don't even vote for their councilmen or their mayors in their community. And it's mostly city elections are usually dominated by the seniors, at least in my community. It's always the senior citizens who vote. It's about the younger people, the future, who don't vote. It's trying to encourage them that these elections, I think it's bad because you have the older people saying, I'm not going to vote, it's not going to change anything. But that they don't understand, it does change. It hurts you when you don't vote. Right. I always use Obama as a template. Obama won in the way that he did because we went out and voted, regardless Absolutely. Of whether or not we didn't know what his agenda was. A lot of us, we might have known us here, but a lot of people didn't care. They just saw a black man, he went out and voted.
Well, listen.
I also one quick point to what Jam said. When someone says, "Well, we don't know about a particular person or what they're about or what their agenda is," we live in a fact-finding society. Anything you can find, anything you're looking for is at the tip of your hand.
Yeah.
If you want to know how much time Rara got for that shooting, you can find that. You understand what I'm saying? You can find that.
Yeah, you can utilize your resources.
Use the same tools that you use to find how much time Rara got to find who represents your city and represents your state in your time.
And I think the voting isn't a one-stop shop. Like November comes, we vote, and we walk away. Mm-hmm. I think you have to continue to be engaged. It's a cycle, right? Absolutely. In order for you to really know who you are casting your ballot for, you need to know what their political position is on healthcare. These are all the topics that's causing these battleground elections. They're talking about abortion. They're talking about healthcare. They're talking about the economy, gun reform, and immigration. This is what has these parties divided, and this is what people in Mid-America, in our communities, this is what they want to know about. And I'm going to tell you right now, they have said the Latin vote is going to be a deciding factor in this upcoming election. For one, we talked about this a couple shows ago, that the Hispanic and Latin community, the volume of that population is expected to grow at leaps and bounds up until 2020 something, up in almost 2030.
2030.
They damn near sure in my neighborhood.
So listen, they are going to be a deciding factor. And what has happened in a lot of these battleground states, they have a lot of Hispanic and Latin Americans who have been out of work during COVID. They were unionized workers. They were not able to work for what we consider to be obvious reasons. It wasn't safe, right? But these people couldn't work. They blamed that on Biden. They blamed the fact that he instituted that social distancing, businesses being closed. That means they couldn't work. That means they couldn't take care of their family. They are still trying to recover. They remember that.
But
they know that, but that's the way they process it, right? That's the way the Republicans are putting the spin. You're absolutely right, and that is why Biden's approval rating has significantly dropped, even within his own party.
Yes, and that's what's the scary. That's what's the scary part about this midterm, because if he continues to drop, then how can he get the backing that he needs for his party? If it's continuing to drop.
When he started his presidency, his approval rating was at 57%.
Correct.
His shit is at 40% now.
He's probably the most non-vocal president I've seen. He's not really that vocal.
Listen.
That nigga done fell asleep at the wheel.
Yeah.
Real. Like,
he's not that vocal.
But the reality of it is, and to be honest and all fair, he got that position because they didn't want the other guy in. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. It was just get him out the way and just put somebody in so we can, because we tired of him.
But this is the most quietest president, vice president. I mean,
where the fuck is Kamala?
Exactly.
Kamala, where you at?
Who? Exactly. Right. Exactly.
This is. But here's the funny thing, right? So not only is President Biden's approval rating down with his constituents, citizens like you and me. It's also down within his own party. When he started his presidency, he had a 98% approval rating across Democrats. His shit is down to 80% now. So that means your own party doesn't have faith in you.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're talking about the independents. He had an approval rating of 61% with the independents. That's down to 39%.
Mm-hmm.
The Republicans, they at least 11% of them was somewhat believing that he had the potential, and he had somewhat of an approval rating. That shit down to 4%. So it is very critical that they make sure that people go out and vote. So people, you need to understand what is happening in your individual cities and states. Right now, there are 6 states where they say these are the races to watch, and these will be some of the races that will decide what happens in Congress, and then ultimately what happens in 2 years with our presidential election. Some place that's always got bullshit, and it ain't Texas this time, but it's close. Georgia.
Yeah, that was going to be mine.
Raphael Warnock,
Right.
who won last time. Everybody seemed to be happy. He was supported by Stacey Abrams. And here come this jackass Herschel Walker.
Oh, yeah.
So first of all, he's not even qualified.
He's comedy relief.
Poor comedy relief,
You know what? I guess Herschel Walker said, well, Jesse Ventura got in. Arnold Schwarzenegger got in.
Okay.
Why can't I
Is
get
that
in?
also?
Donald Trump got in. Why
They
can't I get
they got 2-piece bathing suits in my size. That don't mean my big ass supposed to be in it.
Herschel
But
Walker
all right.
still think he was the generals.
But here's the thing. So one of the topics that's going to really decide that race in Georgia is abortion, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is abortion.
Yes.
And Herschel Walker's ass has been getting lit up because all of his dastardly deeds have been coming out. He's been getting caught in lie after lie after lie.
Yes.
And the Republican Party is dumping a ton of money behind his ads to try to cover it up. But we have had 3 women come out
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and said he paid for them to get abortions. One woman has the $700 check.
Still?
He said, which they have the endorsement,
Yeah,
they
that's
have the
what I mean,
paperwork where she went and got the abortion and everything.
700.
Well, he probably threw a couple extra dollars. He's saying that the $700 was for something else, but she said, "No, homie, this was for it." So that if you're a viewer, subscriber, and you're out in Georgia, that is a race to watch. You need to be active. You need to be when you guys are having those lady nights and planning for your trips. These are kind of conversations you need to weave into those, because you need to mobilize people. It could start with a small group and then somebody else do it, but you need to be making sure people are aware of what is happening in your state. Because if Herschel Walker gets in, he is going to vote to continue to make sure there's a mandate in the state of Georgia that women's rights are impacted. If you are a woman and you got woman parts, or if you identify as a woman, you may not be able to get an abortion, but your rights are going to be infringed upon. So a lot of states, when that mandate came about nationally to repeal Roe versus Wade, individual states put legislation on the books to make sure that you could be safe to get an abortion and have the right to choose. If this gentleman gets in and you're in Georgia, you are in trouble. You need to mobilize, and you need to start making sure you're talking to people. All of those text messages that you send about Fashion Nova discounts and shit, you need to be sending text messages about getting people out and making sure people are aware. Another place real close to us in Jersey, this one's got me behooved. Pennsylvania.
That was my state too. That was on the list.
This guy, John Fetterman, he's not the traditional political person, but Dr. Oz, it's a no for me. Dr. Oz, and Dr. Oz has been so petty and ignorant. The guy had a stroke during the campaigning, and Dr. Oz, who is a real physician, he's not a TV doctor, he's a board certified physician, came out and spoke so negatively about him. I mean, it's been just a slander fest. It's been terrible. They got Nevada, you got Catherine Ortiz Masto and Adam Loxett. Another situation where the Latin community is going to have a big influence on what's happening. So that's Ohio. Tim Ryan, he ran for president. He's a 10-year term, a political person, and he's going against J.D. Vance, and I mean, it's getting nasty. And again, that's one where they're talking about the returning to work, the slump in the economy. People are still suffering because of their lack of ability to get back into work. They're still struggling. So a lot of people are disenfranchised, and a lot of people in Ohio who previously voted Democratic have already committed that they're now going to vote Republican because the Republicans are very focused on the economy. They are promising that they're going to bring jobs back, and that's what matters to people. So that goes right back to what we said before. People, we got to make sure people know what matters to them. Got to know what matters to them.
The biggest issue I have here in the state of New Jersey for me is two things. I'll say this: gun violence and taxes. I think those are the major things for people who want better and a better quality of life. You want lower taxes. I mean, because they're hitting the working class. They beating us up really severely. And right now we gave all this money to the Ukraine and all these other countries, and we're paying for it. We're paying for it now, and we're going to be paying for the next probably 20 years. Because somebody got to pay that money back. And why wouldn't it be fitting that it be the middle class?
It's on the backs of the middle class. You know, we get the squeeze all the time. Two other states, Arizona. You got Mark Kelly. He is the husband of the former Congressman, Senator Gabby Giffords. If you guys remember, she was the senator that got shot. He's her husband. They got Blake Masters. He's good for producing Trump rhetoric. He is still promoting that propaganda that Trump won the election. So he's a big MAGA supporter. So again, if he gets in office, he is going to support the repealing of Roe versus Wade, the lack of abortion. He does not support gun control. So he's a loose cannon. And the last one where they're saying that we really, really need to watch this state is Wisconsin. You got Mandela Barnes out there. He got a lot of flack for saying defund the police. So there's a lack of support for people. Again, these are places like Wisconsin where they believe you have the right to carry guns. So if he has a position where he wants to put legislation on the books that talks about gun reform and gun control, the Red Party isn't going to be in favor of that. He's running against Ron Johnson, and Ron has been known to be a very big Trump supporter, right, wrong, and indifferent. But those are definitely races to watch.
But then also, too, the Republicans need to win just one Democratic seat to take back control of the Senate. Take back control of the Senate. So here's the thing, and Trump been riling his troops up. He's been riling them up. He's been getting his troops ready for, if they take over, if they get the position that they need, he's the favorite, and as far as the Republican goes, to run again and possibly win this thing again. And then if he wins, if he wins and they control the Senate, anything comes out of his mouth is getting passed. It's getting passed. It's going through. It's going through because he has his people in place. And he's back on board. So then when the Republicans take control of the Senate, and get control of the Senate, that whole investigation of them storming Capitol,
the insurrection,
that's dead. That's dead in the water. You can forget about that.
So
nothing is coming out of that.
The likelihood of that happening is very real. And I think we're not really.
That's why this is so important. That's why this is so important.
Another thing that's really been striking me as odd, I'm struggling with this on just as a female and as a human. They are saying that the Republican Party is getting a lot of support from Black women. And I can't figure out, why would you want to support a party that is trying to take away your basic human? No, let me tell you why. And it's not only it's women in general, right? But it's also with a lot of minority women, because a lot of minority women tend to work in corporate environments, and we are impacted by this economy. So essentially our pockets are getting hit, right? And so people are very focused on that. So they are willing to concede on them things like immigration, gun reform, because it's hitting them where it matters. It's hitting people in their pockets. And so people want the economy to improve. When you talk about the Republican Party is promising to bring more businesses and to pass this law, people process that by saying, it's going to go in my pocket. So they're more inclined to turn a blind eye to shit like the immigration and the gun control, because you're talking about my livelihood.
Right.
You talk about how I pay my kids tuition. You talk about how I get my hair done. So that's why people is jumping the bandwagon.
But this is the thing that I think people really don't understand, right? Is that you're scolding Biden for him as the presidency, but Biden's only now he's reaping the benefits of what Trump done.
Yeah.
Just because you're in the office for those 4 years, 8 years, the things that you're trying to pass and get approved doesn't happen while you're in office.
But here's the
it's
thing.
well after you left Pennsylvania Avenue for all this stuff to take place.
People have conveniently forgot that this shit got out of control because Trump did not communicate with the masses soon enough. People have forgotten he knew about this shit months in advance, and they kept it under wraps. And it was only when the shit started to spread like wildfire in February, late February, March, that we started to get information about it. So by that time, it had already gotten so out of control. Once he got out of the presidency and Biden took over, they had to take drastic measures to shut the fucking country down, because they had no other choice, because old fuckface had let that shit get out of control. So people have conveniently forgot about that. So we want to make sure people are being more informed about what the real issues are. Like, how is this healthcare issue going to affect you? Think about all the crime that we're seeing. We're here in New Jersey where we're taping at, but we live close to Pennsylvania and New York. And I mean, it is on the news every day, the amount of gun violence. Someone sent me a video of a car lot being robbed. I watched the news this afternoon, and I saw a father weeping for his 21-year-old son who was just standing in the hallway of his building, who was shot in the torso, him and another young man, and unfortunately his son succumbed to the injuries. I saw it yesterday on the news where somebody went in a bodega and they shot that up, and there was one person killed. So,
and what about this car that a Mercedes-Benz was, you seen them ramming the back of another little small SUV.
I saw that.
And broad daylight.
Ramming
them.
In Midtown.
Right, and you saying this, so what are they doing? And come to find out, they did all that to rob them.
Yeah.
Yep.
All that to rob them. They heard that they had a couple dollars on them, and they robbed them for like $20,000.
But what people have to remember is, we are not just getting hit with inflation in the United States. This is a worldwide problem, and it's a trickle-down effect. We do a lot of business outside of the United States. We get a lot of our products and commodities from outside of the U.S. So if they have inflation in those communities, and we are those consumers of those commodities, it's going to be passed down to us. If you just look at the food costs in general, it's fucking killing you. I still haven't lost that 10 pounds, but nonetheless, the food prices are still fucking high. So it's all being pushed down to the consumer. So you have to think about how that is going to impact you. What matters to your family? And you can't make a knee-jerk reaction. You got to look at the full picture. And again, to what Blue Bim said, you got to do what's right for your family, whether that be red, blue, or white. But you need to get your ass up and vote.
And key thing, not just cut you off, Shay.
No, not at all.
You have to take race out of this.
Absolutely.
Because I think that's where we get
out.
lost in translation with that, because some people, I'm not going to say everybody, but some people vote by race.
That's it.
And you should vote by what, to Shai's point, what affects you the most. I think we all have the same things in common, regardless of what our race, our nationality is. We all suffer from the same things. Gun violence. I mean, you look at these schools with kids getting shot up for guns. Everybody's taxes are going up. So you can't live in a state. New Jersey has some of the highest taxes in the country. We got to be in the top 2. So when you look at it that way, we have that in common. So whatever your nationality is, if that's your beef, if those are your two beefs, we should be voting for the same party that's going to benefit us.
And furthermore, if people are voting for race, you only see people of color in the lower elections, the more local elections. you really don't see them as prevalent as heavy when you get to the higher government.
Well, no, you know what though? I think
they are there.
I think it's the lower. No, but I think it's the lower elections we don't vote. Not young people.
I don't think they
do. It's the seniors. We vote for presidents because our parents tell us get out there and vote. I know
we think if we go vote for the president, all this shit gonna change.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. But a lot of times though, I can say from my own experience, I wasn't taught about voting in midterm elections. I was just taught to vote when the president came in, go out there and vote.
But at that point, it could be too late. Like Lou was saying
exactly.
earlier. We're trying to mobilize people and help them understand that all of these are tied together, right?
Exactly.
So if you get away with the House of Congress and all of that, and that's filled with Republicans, even if you vote for a Democratic president, he will probably more than likely never be able to get any meaningful legislation passed because it's all Republicans. They're going to repeal it.
Right.
But my thing is, when you I think you definitely have to take race out of it.
Definitely.
I know some people vote out of allegiance and alliance, but you can't. You have to look at the full picture. You got to think about how is these decisions, when you get ready to cast that and pull that lever, you need to have done your research.
Exactly.
Don't be influenced by what your mom says or what you did. It's good to get feedback and have open dialogue, but you got to think about what is happening and what's working for your individual household. Because if you make a laissez-faire, real relaxed, uninformed decision, you'll be spending the next 4 to 6 years paying for that. That's
longer than that.
Yeah,
they're gonna kick into.
Yeah, but the thing again that's just really striking me as odd is why so many women are deciding to vote with the Republican Party, especially since they have still put all of their support behind the former President Donald Trump. And one thing I want to get y'all feedback on. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I'm sure you may have. Maybe our listeners and viewers have seen it. They sold Twitter to Elon Musk.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But he tried to back out the deal.
But they forced him. They was going to sue his ass. So he has already fired 3 of the top executives. He fired the CEO. Forgot the other party, but he fired the head of the general counsel. He's already said he's going to change the censorship on the platform, the social media platform, because they banned former President Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So if he has already committed, and he said previously before the deal was final, that if he took over the company, he was going to remove that ban, and he let people like Donald Trump come back in, and he let these people have their First Amendment right of free speech to say whatever the fuck you want. You don't think that's convenient that he's getting ready to do all of that shit right now, right before the midterm elections?
Yeah. And another thing too, when you think
take the muscle right off of them.
Yeah. If you think about economy, and please don't take this lightly. What I'm about to say is that China is struggling.
Yeah.
They have a housing market that is struggling, and they are that's our daddy. China is our daddy. Yeah. So if they're struggling,
so much shit from them.
If they're struggling, what the hell you think gonna happen to us?
Yeah.
You think a loaf of bread is $3 now? Try 6.
Yeah.
If China go underwater, like if they think crash, they got billions in bad. They got billions in bad loans and houses and loans and housing. Billions. Yeah. Billions. They may not be able to recover.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No, not be able to recover. You talk about 2008 all over again. This will be worse.
Well, they are indicating that we haven't seen the worst of it yet. I'm fearful of what that might look like, but I'm definitely doing my own due diligence to look at the races that I know that are going to be at my front door in the state that I live in. But again, Jam, if people have questions, they have comments, where can they hit us up at?
Goinvocal@gmail.com. That's GOINVOCAL@gmail.com.
There he is, the spelling
Hashtag the fan favorite Jam
the
City.
self-proclaimed spelling bee champ. Okay, we appreciate your talents. Appreciate your talents. Spell supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Next show, have it down back. TBD on that. But no, folks, definitely want to make sure that people are out, getting mobilized, being informed. Ask the tough questions. Don't be afraid. We spend a lot of money on these phones. I don't know anybody that has a phone that's less than $1,000. These are personal assistants. You can write an email on here to your local council people. If you have questions, you can write questions. Every senator, every congressperson, they all have public domain and email addresses where you can send your questions to.
All of them have social media.
They all
everything.
have social media.
Everything.
We spend so much time, looking at these people that we've made famous.
Suki Hana.
Oh, that's from the girl from Love and Hip Hop, right?
Suki with the good coochie.
Oh God, yep, that's what they said. I'm not gonna repeat that one. Yeah, take a word for it on that one. Yeah, but all of these political people, whether it be a senator, congressman, your mayor, they all have social media platforms. They also have ways that you can contact them. Call them, send letters, ask questions, make sure your voice is heard. Make them aware of things that are happening in your individual city and your state.
Yes.
Because there could be something that's happening in your school district, right?
You're right.
Listen, if they the governor or a congressman of a state like New Jersey,
Councilman.
it's no way for them to know everything that's going on. If you don't tell them,
exactly.
if you don't raise it to their awareness, there could be something that's happening in your school. They could, in your kids' school, they could have took the lunches away. The lunches could be not quality. They cannot be not USDA certified. Let the people that you put that vote down, that you pull that trigger on, let them know about the things that's impacting you so that they can do something. Don't assume that they know. It's not realistic for them to know every single thing that's going on.
And that's a good point too, because I need to write to Congressman or whoever I need to write. Because my daughter.
Is this about your bad credit again?
No, my daughter.
Oh, okay.
My daughter lunch and breakfast is costing $200 a month.
Yeah,
Lunch and breakfast.
What's she getting Benny Hanna again?
I don't know what the
fuck
fuck
is school.
She can't eat sushi for lunch and then expect me to
And
get
you
her
raise
sushi for dinner.
Every Friday?
Yeah.
And that's I'm gonna piggyback off that. That's why we need to vote on every level. We need to vote
Absolutely,
on
you
every
have
level.
to.
Definitely.
You have to. And I tell parents all the time, like, we look at the laws. The laws aren't made for us as colored people. It's not made for us. So we need
Damn,
to.
Jam, you talk like a whole slip.
Colored
Colored vote.
We don't listen.
Yeah,
We gotta vote from. We have to
Mr.
vote
Trump
from
ain't
a
been nothing good to us.
municipal level, city level. We need to vote our judges, DAs. If they not doing right by us, get them out of there. We need to vote school board. If Toulouse Point, if the food costs too much, get the fuck out of there. They need to create programs.
They need to have programs, resources.
Exactly. It shouldn't be about, okay, if you got a 2-parent household, you still got to pay. Fuck that. There should be a program where nobody have to pay.
Listen,
we paying enough taxes out here.
a lot of my friends, I would say 90% of my friends are in 2-parent households and they still struggling.
Absolutely.
I know people that have been on their jobs for years
It's a recession.
and they cannot make ends meet. They're having to take up second jobs, doing Uber, doing DoorDash. Shit, I'm thinking about getting a part-time job if this damn going vocal shit don't have to take up. Breakbeat Media, please call us. What's the other one? The Black Effect. Charlemagne, we available. Set up a meeting. Foxhole, Jamie, Revolt, Diddy. We got the same birthday. Call us because this shit getting real over here. My hair changes have slowed down because the price of the weed then went up. I mean, like, I'm being serious. Every fucking thing is getting impacted. So that's going to help me make my decision about who I pull a lever for on November 8th.
And then the funny thing is too, a lot of people may look at it like, well, how do I know this? I'm gonna make an impact. Well, how would you not know if you don't do it?
But that's the point. That is, to your point, that is an impact. Because if you don't vote, you'll feel the impact later.
Right.
You might not feel
Right.
it
It'll be
right away, but
negative.
you will
Right.
feel
It
it. So
it
there's
could
an
be something.
impact.
It could be something as small as a pothole in your street.
Yeah.
Somebody got to come out. You could call a councilman. Somebody could come out and get that taken care of. If the parks in your neighborhood aren't clean or they need to be redone over, councilmen, let somebody know. Let the mayor of your town know. Let these people out here to get this stuff fixed.
And listen, I think we definitely need to tap into people because what we're finding is, and this is what helped, one of the factors that helped propel former President Donald Trump into the presidency, people felt disenfranchised with the voting process as a whole. People
They still
essentially
do now.
They do.
Still
You're
do now.
absolutely right. They feel like their voice is not being heard. I think you have to manage your expectations when you go in and you pull that lever. You are never going to get 100% of what you want unless you were putting yourself in office.
There you go.
There is bipartisanship.
And when you get there, it's not necessarily guaranteed that you can fix everything.
But that's the thing, right? So people have to reach across the aisles. The Republicans have one agenda, the Democrats have another agenda. There might be some synergies, but for the most part, they have much different focuses. So the person that you're voting in office has to do some give and take. There has to be some ebb and flows. Some shit they're not going to be able to get done.
Right.
They try to prioritize and do what's best for the masses, but don't get disenfranchised with the process because you cared about these 20 things, but they was only able to do these 7, right? That's still progress, because if you would have put somebody else in office, they wouldn't have done any of them.
And guess what? These terms come up every 2 years.
Yeah, it takes
so
time.
if you're not voting in these midterm elections, you're just leaving these same people in the seat.
And
to do the same thing all over again.
And you're making it harder to make change because now they have to overturn 8, 9, 10 years of shit that has been being done. And so if something has been happening for a long, consistent period of time, and let's say hypothetically that's 10 years, you can't expect somebody to get in with 1-2 year term and overturn all of that.
Right.
It's just not realistic. So that's why I feel like people that are, and I'm speaking specifically to the people who are disenfranchised with the voting process as a whole, you gotta hold yourself accountable. You can't be holding on to something and having a case of sour grapes and acting like an immature ass child. We need you to get out. We need you to vote. And if we don't vote in unity and in unison, we are all going to suffer the consequences. So get out and vote. Again, we're not here at the Vocal show telling you who to vote for, but you definitely need to get out and vote. The right to choose is your right. We're not here to sway you, but you need to be informed when you're voting, and you need to be meaningful and intentional. We hope that you vote. We're going to follow up after November 8th. And we're going to share some of the results of some of these big races to watch in some of these battleground states. Yeah. And then we'll see what we're gearing up for in 2024, people.
Maybe we need Diddy to get back out there with the rock the vote.
We need everybody to get out there and talk.
Vote or die. Because we need motivation. We got to be self-motivated, but we got to get out there and vote.
And that's so too. Keep in mind that not every Republican voted for Roe versus Wade.
No.
Not every Democratic voted for it. You know what I'm saying? So don't get so, again, I can't stress it enough. Don't get so caught up into a party thinking that party is what is best for you. You understand what I'm saying? So just make sure you do your due diligence and do your homework when you get out here on November 8th. The polls open up about 6 a.m.
Yep.
And they close about 8.
But many places you can do early voting. You can actually go out and vote now. You can go out and vote now. You can go out and vote now.
Right.
And if you see your man JMC out there, give him a shout out. Give me a shout out. Send me a shout out. I'm voting.
Give his ass a word he can't spell. Give his ass a word he can't spell.
I'm out there.
Listen, we gotta go into my favorite part of the show. And listen, this is the bullshit. I don't know what's going on with people in the world today. I am convinced that people are just doing shit for shock value at this point. I read an article about a woman and her boyfriend got into an argument about who was going to use the microwave first. She bodied him.
Get an air fryer.
Exactly.
She bodied him.
Yeah.
She bodied him.
Killed him.
She killed him? Or who was using
Over
the
an
microwave
argument about who was going to use that electronic device. I don't have a...
Them leftovers must have been good.
And I don't even like the microwave. They don't even heat your
It
stuff all the
don't
way
taste
through.
right sometimes.
Wow.
You put fried chicken in there, it's finished.
It becomes a rubber band.
Yeah, you might as well throw that in the ground. But you guys, who's on your get your shit together?
Can I do this?
Yeah.
Okay. This is great. This is true story. My get your shit together is going out to the company that fixed my transmission. Now I know I have my transmission fixed in my car.
Look at him laughing. You must know what happened.
I have
I had look, check it out. Check the shit. I had my transmission fixed, right? So they finally fixed it. It's okay. We got the transmission company got to tow the car back because they picked it up. So they're gonna bring it back to me. However, they couldn't bring it back because the tow truck transmission went. So you have a transmission company that can't even fix the transmission. So I need on their own goddamn truck.
Yeah.
They need to get their shit together.
You need to get a new mechanic, and you need to get one.
It's not my mechanic. It's a company.
I know that
they outsource. Yeah. So and it's
that's gonna be another time.
They specialize in transmissions. But
when outsourcing goes wrong.
Yeah, they had 2 tow trucks that they worked with, and they had a lot of deliveries. So they said they couldn't deliver. Mine fell a day short because the truck that they was going to bring it on, transmission went. That's just ridiculous.
I'm just a firm believer. Whenever you try to cut a corner on certain shit, you pay twice.
Yeah.
You pay twice anyway.
I believe you.
I believe you. Just pay the shit one time
and get it done with it.
Get done with it. My get your shit together goes out to this janitor, whatever this guy is. He was cleaning.
You're not using a politically correct term. They're called environmental specialists.
Okay. Corporatized.
Well, he environmentally specialized and tampered with somebody's water bottle with his goddamn penis.
What?
Yeah, I know that story.
The lady left her water bottle on her desk.
Yeah,
she goes to break or goes somewhere.
Still in company time, but okay.
No, she's on lunch or something. Just left the water bottle, and this guy comes through and wipes his penis across her water bottle.
He just whipped his Jim Jammy out?
Peas inside and everything.
She is savage. He's a savage.
This lady ends up catching an STD.
Mm-hmm. And they recorded him. I remember that story. They recorded him and caught him doing it. On camera.
It's a wild boy.
Can you imagine trying to explain to your partner that you have an STD and they don't have it?
It's a brand new dance called the Pee-wee.
So did he get arrested? What happened to the janitor?
Of course he got arrested.
Because now I've reduced him back to a janitor. Since he's a sleazeball. He's a slobber. He's no more an environmental specialist. That term has been removed.
Yeah, he environmental.
Wow. Listen, I know I gave y'all a short one. I just want to say this. So, I could cook, right? But I've been being lazy the last few weeks.
None of your cooking in 2 months.
I got you. After my birthday, I'll be back at it.
Say less, man.
So, he's going to hold me to it, right? So, I've been lazy. So, I've been getting a lot of takeout, right? So, I got Caribbean takeout.
Is this not enough gravy?
Yes. So, anybody that knows they go to the Caribbean places be fucking around with the gravy. I want to know who's in charge of the gravy at these places. Like, is there a gravy meeting at the start of the day before they open the business where it says only give people 1 scoop? So I get a large oxtail. So I go to the franchise place. I don't go to one of the authentic places. I go to the franchise place. It's closed. You know what? It's edible. I can live with it. They have raised the prices damn near every 3 to 4 months on these oxtails. The shit is at $30 now.
Well, listen.
For a large oxtail, yeah.
Well, you know why?
Well,
because somebody didn't vote. The price of gravy don't went the fuck up.
To the impact your vote. Got me a hotel for $30.
So once I get my beverage and my entree, the shit is $30. So for that price, don't try to give me no fucking 1 scoop of gravy. I told that girl I want the gravy dripping off the goddamn plate. That's when you stop. Because she gave me 1 and I was like, no, I want extra gravy. Extra gravy isn't 1 more scoop. Girl, if you don't put that fucking gravy on there and stop fucking playing with me. Like, if you are in the restaurant, stop playing with the fucking gravy.
I can see the outcome of this shit already.
Yo, I want my gravy.
You have a collect call from Charmaine.
And y'all, they got me on some bullshit ass trumped up charges about some gravy. Y'all come get me out of here. But listen, seriously.
Like, what's the bill for not enough gravy?
Gravy train.
Throwing a damn something over there. Stop playing with my gravy. When I say extra gravy, I want it dripping off the fucking plate.
And you know, in the hood, you get
give me my damn gravy.
Yeah, so what shot you talking about? Gravy shot.
You know what? You full of shit. You full of shit because the minute some of that fucking gravy spill in that goddamn car,
I put it on the floor. Listen,
them motherfuckers out.
That shit was all over really bad, but that's okay. I had sufficient gravy on my rice, so I was happy about it. But listen, that's our show for today. We want y'all, again, we giving y'all the PSA, we giving the call to action. Get up, mobilize, vote, do what you gotta do, be part of the change. Don't sit back on your ass and then complain later when things aren't working. But listen, you know the motto here. Whatever you do, always go vocal, be present, and be active.
I gotta give a shout out to our in-studio engineer, Jay.
Yes, we have stepped it up. We have a producer now. We got Jay Glizzy. He's working with us. He's keeping us, intact. He's already given us some great feedback that we're planning on implementing. So we're going to bring him on camera, let y'all see him from time to time. Yeah, there you go. You got to put your hands right there. Yeah, that's his two fingers. That's our producer. Y'all ain't trying to steal him. We're stepping it up here.
He's under contract.
Yeah, he's under contract. We have the meeting after tonight's taping because there's going to be some sanctions because this one been doing some bull crap. We're going to get him straight.
That's what I do.
Me and Lou Bim going to get him straight. We got the producer on his ass now. We had to bring in some official people because he wasn't listening to me.
She's mad because I called the Caribbean spot ahead and told her Lou Bim got to be short on the grid.
No, this nigga be setting up the trailer with his own music. I don't be wanting his music. I put my own goddamn music. I got to bring our own engineering.
Yeah, we about to get an engineer. Yeah, but people don't forget November 8th is here. You can still go out, vote early. Don't wait till the last minute because there's always BS that happens at the polls and all kind of the machines aren't working. So if you can get out and you can do early voting, go ahead and do it. And with that being said, peace. We out.
Peace.
Everybody tune into the Pod Squad now.